Welcome to a look at heat in thermochemistry. In an earlier video, I introduced thermochemistry and internal energy. Let's review briefly. First, in chemistry, we view the universe as two simple parts, the system and the surroundings. The system is the part of the universe we are interested in or that we study. This could be a physical process, like a phase change, or a chemical process, like a chemical reaction, with reactants and products. The surroundings is simply the rest of the universe. This is where we, the observers, record data and observations. Energy can be exchanged between the system and the surroundings in the form of work or heat. The energy of the system can be called the internal energy. The internal energy can be classified as the sum of the kinetic and potential energies of the system. But in thermochemistry, we are interested in the change in internal energy. The internal energy can change in the form of work or heat. The change in internal energy, delta E, is equal to W plus Q. Work, represented by lowercase w, is defined as force acting over a distance. For chemistry students, we can think of work as the transfer of energy in an organized motion. Heat, represented by a lowercase q, is defined as the transfer of energy between objects that results in a temperature difference. Another way to think about this is heat is the transfer of energy in a disorderly motion of molecules. This is called thermal motion. In this video, let's focus on heat transfer. In an exothermic process, the system loses energy in the form of heat to the surroundings. And Q is a negative value. This is because the system is our reference point and energy is lost. Q must be a negative value. And the opposite is true. In an endothermic process, the system gains energy in the form of heat from the surroundings. Q is equal to a positive value. Let's look at some specific processes. I'll start with simple physical processes like phase changes of water. Consider the melting of water ice. Here, water solid, or ice, changes into water liquid. The ice is the system, and the rest of the universe is the surroundings. In order for this process to happen, heat needs to go into the ice for the ice to melt. This is an endothermic process, and Q equals positive. What about boiling water? Here, water liquid changes phases into water vapor or gas. Is this endothermic or exothermic? For boiling to occur, heat needs to go into the water liquid from the surroundings. This is an endothermic process, and Q is positive. Now, let's look at condensation. This is when water vapor condenses into water liquid. Is this endothermic or exothermic? In order for vapor to condense, heat needs to be removed from the gas. The gas loses heat and cools into a liquid. This is an exothermic process, and Q is negative. Finally, let's look at freezing. When liquid water phase changes into water solid or ice. Is this endothermic or exothermic? In order for liquid to freeze, heat needs to be removed from the liquid. The liquid loses heat and cools into a solid. This is an exothermic process, and Q is negative. Now, let me give you a classic example of an exothermic chemical reaction. This is the neutralization of hydrochloric acid by the base sodium hydroxide. In one calorimetry lab, we'll mix the acid and base. We can measure the temperature change to find the heat evolved or released. You can see in this example, the temperature is increasing after the solutions have been mixed. Recall, the neutralization reaction is the system. The solution in the styrofoam cup is the surroundings. We measure the temperature in the surroundings. This means that heat is released from the reaction or the system into the surroundings, an exothermic reaction.